I'm not going to sit here and say I got 3D gaming, right? It's like I guess it's the next step. And then I played maybe 3 seconds. I think we all recall our first time. You see a pipe, going up from the ground. Mario jumps out. There's no music. There's nothing, right? You kind of just get some text, but then you're kind of just left there thinking, what do you do? And then that's when you realize, oh, I don't even need to go to the castle. Like I must have spent easily 40 minutes just outside being mind blown over just climbing the trees, understanding the backflips, like how fluid the animation was. Because right now I'm playing through a couple of games on PS3, PlayStation 3, couple of generations after. And when I go back to some of these games, you feel the clunkiness with like the ragdoll physics and all that. But then you go back with Super Mario 64, it's like, what the hell? Like, what is this advanced tech that you do nothing in the game and it just feels so fluid, so beautiful when you backflip? It's just like freaking glorious. Damn it, I don't even have a question. I just need
It's
somebody
very
to validate
satisfying to control Mario because I recently replayed it when the 3D All Stars came out for the Switch, and I, for the first time in my life, got the all 120 stars in Mario
Nice.
64. I'd actually
Nice.
never done that before. And there's a reason people still play it and speedrun it all the time is because Mario's movement is so incredible for a game. For being one of the first 3D platformers, it's incredible how like momentum matters, the variety of moves, like your long jumps and the dives into, you dive and you can jump up again. If you do it fast enough, then you don't like lose speed when you do it. There's so much nuance to Mario's movements. And if you watch some of these speed runs, you can see what basically taking Mario's movements to the next level looks like. The amount that there is to be done with just like how amazingly they basically built the foundation of that game is the fact that you can be so precise and do all these crazy things. And it's really fun, and it's what made that game so amazing is because if you knew how to move well with Mario, you could basically solve stars way easier than even like the main way you're supposed to solve them, because if you were good at wall jumping and doing all these certain jumps. So it's just like they created a really fun character control and then just gave you this amazing playground to control him in. So yeah, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's no accident that this is one of the most revered games of all time for that exact reason that Ryan mentioned. Because with that added third dimension in these games, like, it was really one of the first games where you were able to almost like break the level just by being able to control it better. Like you could figure out those ways to almost cheat just by moving and timing your jumps right, and maybe skipping a section or making this section easier than it was supposed to be. It's not something you could really do too much in 2D platformers because you were always kind of limited by the length of the level and how far you were able to move in it. But now all of a sudden, when you've got this three-dimensional playground and these precise controls and things that can link together like Super Mario 64 has, like like I said, there's no accident that it is as good as it is just having all of those factors together.
And I was just watching a video from GameSack, and the topic, it was 2D games that failed to make a really healthy transition to 3D. Like maybe the sequels eventually got better, but it's like that shift. And he had talked about Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim is like a very beautiful 2D game, right? But with 2D games, more often than not, with the exception of, I guess, something like Super Metroid, there's not a lot of adventure in a platforming game. It's very much get to this checkpoint, right? Cross this thing. It's from point A to from point A to point B. But when you go to 3D, a lot of that gets taken away because it's more about the experience, right? It's like, here's a sandbox and you got to get to this point, but you can spend 20 minutes doing nothing. And as you guys mentioned, the most mind-blowing thing for Mario 64 for me was, hey, you can technically follow the traditional route, But if you get really good at momentum, you can skip half the levels, you can skip a lot of stuff. And it's not with mods, right? Like people have exploited the game, but it's a lot of things that put yourself in a developer's shoes. Like this is the first mainstream, like top-notch AAA platformer, right? That people remember. And I remember like a couple years later, even in the N64, a lot of companies just could not match it. And whether you like Nintendo as a business or not, Nintendo's historically, they freaking added Bluetooth on the Switch. It was there the whole time. It was there the whole freaking time. It's just like, they didn't flip the damn Switch, guys.
It's like, hey guys, do you know we could do this? No? Oh, we can?
People already $40 on accessories.
As brilliant as Nintendo can be sometimes the most obvious things they just totally miss. And that's the thing is the kind of the 3D collectathon, what kind of became the blueprint for 3D platformers was not even the original plan. With Mario 64, their original idea was to have it be like Super Mario World, where you had a bunch of levels that you had to get through. But they realized when they started making the levels that, we're not going to be able to create like 50 different levels. So they ended up saying like, okay, how can we make the most out of each of the levels that we're making? And that's where they came up with the idea of having objectives instead of having, 50 different levels that you just go from start to the end.
Hey, we really hope you enjoyed this podcast clip, and if you did, guess what? You can listen to the full episode right now by searching for Quest Rewind on your favorite podcast app, including Spotify. And while you're at it, follow us over there so you never miss a new episode.